Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at the Powkiddy X18S, the new generation of retro handheld gaming. So exactly what is the X18S going to be like? So let's dive in and take a look. So as you can see, it's a clamshell design. You have the usual L1, L2 buttons on the top of the handheld. I have to say I'm not overly blown away with these. They are quite small. I haven't had the problems that people have reported with clickiness getting stuck, so that's not too bad. It's USB-C. You also get an HDMI out, which is nice, and the SD card reader as well. Overall, the design's quite nice. It's okay in the hand, but I wish that Powkiddy had done a little bit more with the design side of this. Maybe he's gone with the like the Max 2. So as you all know, it's an Android operating system, but it also plays retro gaming. So when you open the clamshell, you're greeted with the usual buttons, the D-pad, the button, play buttons, the joysticks. I have to say again, I'm not overly blown away by the actual quality of the buttons. They press very close into the shell. They don't have that nice bouncy clicky feel to them, and also I'm not sure why there is so much waste on the actual shell. If you can see, you know, everything seems to be grouped all together. You have your usual buttons along the top, which is your volume, the home button, the back button, the start menu. But if you look in the middle, there's just so much space that hasn't been used, which I think is absolutely crazy. More so when you look at the size of the D-pad and the size of the buttons, it's just bizarre, and I'm really unsure why Powkiddy have gone with this particular design. Don't get me wrong, it's not bad, but it could be better. Looking at the specs, this is where the X18S really stands out. It comes with a 5.5-inch IPS touch screen display. Image quality is superb on it. It has a 6-core ARM Cortex A55 processor. It uses the Mali G52 GPU. It has 6GB to 8GB RAM, and it has a 55 milliamp battery. I mean, this thing really is a powerhouse compared to other games that Powkiddy have brought to the market. And you'll see later on the fact that the processor runs at 2.0 gigahertz. I mean, this has got no problem playing a lot of the games that you couldn't previously play, such as God of War. So I'm really happy with the spec side of this. So when I received this from Go Game Geek, it had nothing on it whatsoever. It didn't even come with an SD card, so you have to do all of that when you first get it. Also, the firmware needed updated on this particular handheld. It wasn't like this out of the box, and it was an absolute nightmare to do. It took me about 3 hours. I just couldn't get the update to go onto the SD card. It kept hanging. You have the usual crap, I'm going to call it, on the handheld when you first get it, such as Happy Chick, where you can play thousands of games via the Happy Chick emulator. This isn't the best way to experience the handheld. A lot of the built-in emulators that Happy Chick use aren't updated, and can be a bit of a pain in the arse to use, to be honest with you. I really wish that Powkiddy had done something with the operating system and put something a little bit more up to date on it, because there's not a great deal to it, to be honest with you. My main issue with this, and as you all know, usually when I review these handhelds, it's straight out of the box. I don't mess around with them. I tell you exactly how it is and how I found it straight out of the box. Unfortunately, I couldn't do this with the Powkiddy the X18S, because if I had done, I would have said straight away, don't buy it, because the operating system, when you first get it, if it hasn't got the up-to-date firmware, which you will know because you will not have the Play Store if it's on the old firmware. If it is on that, it's absolutely horrendous to use. So yeah, after quite a bit of a pain to get it updated. I eventually did, and the experience is a lot better. But come on, Powkiddy, you really need now to be doing something different with the operating systems and putting better firmware on these, so that the consumer can play these straight out of the box. Because this isn't what I would expect of a next gen retro handheld. Do the update and it works absolutely fine, but I've no doubt the community will come up with a completely better operating system. It's just a shame that the community have to do that, and Powkiddy can't be asked to put the time or the resources into doing it. But saying that, as it is, once you get it updated, it works fine. Just be aware that the operating system is a bit on the shit side. So as you all probably know by now, it runs on Android 11. So it is a fairly up-to-date Android experience that you're going to have. And you're not going to have any problems playing the majority of Android games out there. But if you don't want to play Android games, you can still play your retro gaming. However, you will have to put all of the emulators and your own games onto the X18S. Because as I said before, it doesn't come with anything on the machine other than Happy Chick. So be prepared to do that before you can get into it. So one thing I am really happy with is how well it plays GameCube games. There aren't many handhelds out there on the retro scene that can handle GameCube games. And I'm not saying that the X18S can play every GameCube game, because it can't. However, the ones that I tried played perfectly well, which was fantastic and brought a smile to my face, if I'm honest with you. Luigi's Castle ran absolutely perfectly, no problems whatsoever. So anyone into GameCube gaming will absolutely love this handheld. So as well as GameCube and every other retro emulator out there, it can also play Android games. Android games, you'll be using the touch screen a lot, and I have to say the image quality on the screen, with it being HD 720p, runs absolutely perfectly. It really doesn't give it justice in the video that you're watching, but I can assure you the image quality is superb. So Android games work absolutely fine. I did have a few problems with the game that you're seeing now with the controls. There is a mapping button on there that you can do to map the screen. I don't think I had it set up properly. I'm not sure what I've done wrong with it, but it kept losing control for whatever reason. But I can assure you it does work. But don't forget, as well as your Android games, you're going to be able to play all of your Dreamcast stuff flawlessly, your Saturn games flawlessly, and it goes to say the likes of your Mega Drive, Super NES, even your N64 work absolutely perfectly on this handheld. The only problem that you might have is with the shoulder buttons when playing certain games. Because of how they are positioned and how small they are, it can make playing some games uncomfortable and difficult. I just wish Powkiddy had done like the tiered buttons for the shoulder buttons like they did on the Max 2. And one thing I would say to Powkiddy, if they ever watch this video, is for future handhelds going into 2022, please look at what you did with the RGB10 Max 2 and that control design, and put the specs of this or any future specs into a handheld with that type of design, because that is what the consumer wants. It's a lot more comfortable to use, especially for extended periods of time compared to the X18S. Okay. As well as Android and as well as your retro gaming, you can also use the X18S for streaming games, such as on the Xbox Stadia. I have to say the experience that I had on the Xbox was absolutely brilliant. I tried it using the controllers on the X18S itself. They were all responsive. But the experience really comes into itself when you connect the Bluetooth controller up to it. I had no lag whatsoever between the what was happening on screen and the controller, and it was absolutely excellent. It was really, really good. So I'll play a minute or two of Halo Infinite on the Xbox. This is me using the actual Xbox controller as well. So I'll be quiet for a couple of minutes. So here's a look at Forza Horizon 5 again on the Xbox Series X, and once again, similar to the Halo Infinite, it worked extremely well using the controller. There was no input lag whatsoever, and the graphics looked really, really good on the X18S due to that HD 720p screen. So you'll have no problems with that. So again, I'll go quiet for a minute or two and let you see what the in-game footage is like for Forza 5. So there you have, guys. That's the Powkiddy X18S. What do I think of it? It's definitely heading the right direction. It's a great handheld to use for the raw power that it has. It's very versatile. I just wish the operating system and a couple of the snaggy things with the controllers were sorted out. But yeah, very excited to see what Powkiddy bring to the future. Thanks for joining the channel, and please hit that like and subscribe.